Welcome back, and thank you for joining us for Game 2 of the day, Cloud9 versus Team Liquid. If you want to see what it's like to catch moves like these, pick up your tickets at loesports.com/tickets, and you'll bask in the action alongside us and have to see me in person. I'm sorry about that part of it. Now let's turn towards the players starting today. In this game, selecting the blue side is going to be Cloud9, featuring an all-new lineup yet again. Licorice in the top lane, Blaber in the jungle, Jensen in mid, Sneaky in bot lane alongside Zeyzal at support with their coach Reaper.
And loading up on the red side, it is Team Liquid. Another first place hopeful here. In the top lane, it's Impact. In the jungle, Xmithie. Mid, Pobelter. Bottom, Doublelift, support Olleh, and Coach Kane on stage.
This is going to be a fun one. So with their postseason hopes hanging in the balance, Cloud9 bring in another new piece to the roster, another rookie. Blaber starts the day in the jungle.
Oh my goodness. What a story it has been, this split for Cloud9. We thought that it might have stopped with the changes though. Reaper, in an InVen interview July 16th, said that they were probably moving forward not going to make that many more changes because they don't have as many games left to get into the playoffs race, to get to Worlds and try and qualify. However, we've got another change here. Blaber, their Academy jungler, is coming in. This is Cloud9's 5th roster move of the split. His main champions that he played in Academy, he's got 3 new games because they played a lot of Funnel, 2 Sejuani, and then 1 each Gragas, Trundle, Kindred. Not too much special there, but they did do a lot of the Funnel compositions there for him in Academy.
Yeah.
So maybe we'll see that come into effect here for the roster on the LCS stage.
Yeah, he funneled Sneaky a lot. That was a lot of why C9A was winning.
Now they're both
games.
together again.
Exactly. Maybe we see that some more. Now, of course, Blaber will have to make his debut versus the reigning champions in Team Liquid, and of course, they've shown us they had a bit of an up and down week last time, trying a few new things.
Yeah, last week they ended on a down for sure. Team Liquid, their laning phase was terrible versus FlyQuest. Impact was making mistakes. Olleh made a bunch of mistakes in a row. Xmithie even, which we don't usually see a lot of mechanical mistakes. Blast Cone errors, ultimate errors there with Kindred, and they were down almost 5,000 gold at 15 minutes versus FlyQuest, one of the teams in the middle of the pack. However, Impact also started talking a little bit afterwards about some of the practice that Team Liquid have been putting in. Last week, they also weren't quite ready for Smite mid laners that weren't funnels. They said they hadn't put too much practice into those compositions, and he specifically said something around the gank timers, which is more, I would think, around Talon with Smite mid or something like that, as they would roam a lot more. But Team Liquid, they have had some difficulties in adjusting, and it's shown up in their score. A lot of their losses have been some devastating losses, whereas still they, going especially in Rift Rivals, were looked at as North America's best team, for sure the strongest representative. They have not had the consistency though, and now even though Cloud9 are coming at 2-6, they are still a very tough opponents, as they've put Sneaky and Jensen back in.
So as we go ourselves into champions, I always like to leak details from a pre-game chat in the lobby. Xmithie called Olleh TSM Olleh because he watched the countdown, so shout out that show, it's amazing. If you didn't see it, it was a segment about trades that could have been. TSM Olleh being one of them, and he said, don't let me go. I just wanted to kind of share that with the world, but we are into new champions with this one. First pick being Kindred. Most of these bans are very typical here.
Yeah, this time around we do have the Zoe as well as Talia in those last 2 spots for blue and red, so the Kindred's the one that got through. Premier jungler right now, because not only does Kindred scale very well with marks, once you get going, gonna add tons of damage as well as range to the champion, but her early game is also powerful in looking and choosing skirmishes there. As long as you don't make mistakes like face checking into people, she has a huge advantage there. So we'll see if they're able to keep track of the marks as well as look for some of that early pressure. Always though, you're going to be able to trade the other high tier champions you mentioned in Champ Select of our last game. Morgana with the Black Shield as well as the binding potential for picking champions off has gone just through the roofs as far as prioritization here from teams, as well as Body Slam Flash. That's an old, tried and true initiation method.
Absolutely.
Gonna get that one for Xmithie, classic champion.
It's been one of his absolutely long-term best champions. Xmithie definitely really great on the Gragas. I have seen some Gragas top as well. I think I've seen some Gragas support even, so this is still pretty flexible. Keep in mind that C9 themselves ran Morgana as a farming bot laner on Sneaky last week, so even the Morgana could be flexible. So we'll wait to see what Liquid have totally locked in for themselves. Meanwhile, C9 locking in some of the most aggressive and annoying champions you could possibly play. Fiddlesticks at support is pretty rough to deal with. Almost definitely can be played there. Swain can be flexible between Jensen and Sneaky, though I do expect it to be on Jensen.
You said it, Freak. That damn Fiddlesticks.
Yeah.
That guy is very annoying.
Yeah.
Primarily played as a support now for people. Huge harassment with the Dark Wind in lane. Still has the very annoying fear that you can just pull off. Well, technically a terror with his Q, and you can use that to proc your Aftershock. Very good for the 2-on-2 trades, actually, in the bottom lane.
Yeah.
Often, you go up your fear one, then the other one's going to try and get off the damage, and you have to be kind of close to fear one of them.
Yep.
They'll try and focus you with the other, but Aftershock gives you so many flat resistances. It's actually insane for those 2.5 seconds.
Yep.
You get about... actually, have you done the math on the gold value?
I did like a really long time ago.
But
Yeah.
It's
a lot of stats. It's a lot of stats. It's really, really valuable. I tend to not think of buffs in terms of gold value because it's just not worth it at a certain point. Either way, it's very good. Now, Jhin has been locked in for Doublelift into the bottom lane. This has been one of his, actually, I think, best champions for the last year or so, actually. Even though it's not like the typical Doublelift champion, hard carry, mechanical outplay 1v9 kind of guy. He has been exceptionally good on Jhin specifically. He has some kind of obvious affinity for this champion, and I think it's going to be a very good look for him. Alongside Morgana, Olleh should be pretty good at keeping him alive as well. So I do think it's a pretty good look for Teal. A lot of comfortable champions. Olleh, one of his most well-known champions, is his Morg after all. Xmithie, same for Gragas, and honestly for me, Doublelift his Jhin as well.
Yeah, and the combination of these two, right? Not only are these great champions for those two players, they feel very comfortable. The snare combinations that you get has a lot of kill pressure. And we've seen them duo kill lanes. Good lanes here in the North American LCS just by themselves, landing bindings under turret, things like that, resulting in kills for Team Liquid. So
yeah,
could be a very powerful bottom lane. I think that right now...
You're looking at Mundo, I think. Oh, no, it's gone, sorry.
Yeah, Mundo banned off. Right now, the other big thing to me about Jhin is how fast he gets with people building the Stormrazor, all this extra move speed that he's able to get, then builds into crit. So how quickly he can move around when he's able to proc the speed buff does make him a very mobile marksman, even though people look at his kit and say he doesn't have any jumps or dashes built into it.
Yeah, he's swift.
He just runs.
He is real swift. Shout out The Fast, by the way, the best YouTube series of all time. If you're done watching this game and Doublelift as well, The Fast on YouTube. Full crit, full attack speed Jhin. It's actually amazing. Great editing as well. I want to point out, by the way, that impact is still going on to Ornn. I understand that Team Liquid love to play tanks in the top lane, but Ornn has received nerf after nerf after nerf, and they still consider him the very best tank. I find that interesting, but that is what they go for.
You don't want to put words in their mouth. They may not consider him the very best tank. They might
for this game.
I would say, yeah, for sure, the most reliable initiation, right? His ultimate is one thing that you can't deny.
Well,
this is the second Azir, actually, that we have seen in the North American LCS. Seems to be making a comeback here. The first one was Febiven for Clutch Gaming. Did not work out that great for them. But again, back to your Ornn point, the ultimate, I mean, how much do they have to nerf the champion before you're like, I'm not willing to put up with this guy in exchange for this amazing team fight ultimate? Because typically it's been his ultimate, obviously very long range, huge area of effect for crowd control, in combination with a strong laning phase. Other champions, though, have risen up as far as the laning phase. Poppy's got buff after buff, side by side, the nerf after nerfs for Ornn, and seems to be a very good answer because Ornn does have multiple dashes that you can interrupt with the steadfast presence.
All right, so Champion Select is over, and it's, by the way, going to be double mage for Cloud9. We kind of skipped over that one, but Orianna and Swain going to be locked in as their two big farming roles down there. Sneaky going to be playing the ladder here. Of course, Jensen, well known for his Orianna. A more standard composition here for Team Liquid. Honestly, if this was middle of Spring Split, you'd be like, yeah, this looks like a very standard Spring Split Champion Select for them, but a bit of a new look here for Cloud9. Poppy in for Licorice. I've not seen him play much of that. Of course, Blaber making his NALCS debut on Kindred. arguably the very strongest jungler in League of Legends. They first picked the champion for him, and I think it's a worthy choice right here. But going to be a fun one to watch for. Cloud9 have a lot of ground to make up. They are 2 games behind a spot in the playoffs with 10 to play. They need to make up distance, and Cloud9 having to face Team Liquid, going to be a hard one to gain ground on.
Cloud9's story here of their road to playoffs for them to try and qualify to Worlds is definitely an exciting one. This is a team that went back when they had High on this roster, were able to make the miracle run and actually qualify for Worlds, and then play pretty well as far as the tournament went. Olleh here does walk over a ward in this invade, by the way. Isn't going to have anyone collapse on him, but we do get a little bit of exchange of vision here for the supports.
Yeah, otherwise just kind of a fanned out 5-man squad. And then we're going to make sure there's no deep invades. A couple of Trinket wards traded places in that sort of dragon area. Blaber gets first damage, and then Xmithie heals up literally all of it.
Yeah, going to be able to start the W, no problem there for Xmithie. One of the things with Gragas into Kindred matchup that is why the Gragas is actually quite highly prized. Even though Kindred is so strong right now, knockbacks are very effective against this champion. Obviously, the ultimate from Kindred puts down this zone that your team is going to try and stay on, and Gragas will try and knock you off with the barrel.
Yes.
And a very well-played Gragas can make a Kindred look like a fool. However, that requires very good play and accurate skill shots from the Gragas.
That's true.
So while it is a counter, it requires good play to execute on that counter. The other part of the counter is also in the early game. Body Slam Flash is very good at closing distance on Kindred early. And a large part of Kindred's advantage in early duels is because of the range and trying to dodge with your dancing arrows. So we'll see here about the matchup, because Kindred can also farm a bit faster than Gragas if everything is left par.
We just saw a nice trade from Jensen right there, walking up as Pobelter put down his soldiers, and of course Orianna has much better auto attacks than Azir does. Blaber pretty convenient on that first stack right there, gets it on the top side, who's already heading up there on the Kindred, so 1 so far. Right now, Xmithie actually going for a much slower path, actually. Went back to Krug to the second camp, now onto Raptors, so going to be a very heavy farming route, not even looking for any aggression in the early game.
Yeah, definitely true. You do not want to have a Kindred, especially with red buff, find you at a camp.
Oh, and some of the roughest CSing right now, Zeyzal and Sneaky, only at 6 CS off the first 2 waves. Double and Olleh, great job with that push. Of course, Double Mage, hard to auto-attack minions under turret well, and even a good couple of bouncing grenade hits there. The cannon, and almost perfect CS for Doublelift.
And with Sneaky back in the lineup, he's actually played a lot of the mages, like you're talking about, the Morgana, and this is one of the things where he spent a long time for Cloud9 on the Academy roster. Yeah,
2 CS that way.
Doublelift and Olleh doing a good job pushing them in, again, with their Morgana Jhin combo that you mentioned being so comfortable for them. They're able to get a good advantage.
All right, well, let's go to the side stage with Ovely, who checked in with now Coach Kane, and how he felt about Champion Select.
Thanks, guys. Just got finished speaking with Coach Kane. I wanted to pick his brain about that Azir pick. He said that they totally expected the Orianna coming from Cloud9, and Pobelter was super confident that he could win in that matchup. So I'm excited to see how it plays out. Back to you guys.
Well, good timing, Ovely, because the gank coming into the top side as Licorice is actually traded up against Impact's W's. The shield's not there, but the wave is simply too big, and now they're going to try once again. Now level 4 onto him. Going to go for that charge right there, waiting for the next play to come again, trying to make sure that W can't go anywhere either, but it's just going to be a lot of damage. Impact down about 300 HP, and no more charges for him. A nice little bit of damage out of Blaber.
Yeah, that is a big chunk for the lane phase here to take down Impact. Starts drinking his potion immediately, but Wave is pushing towards his turret, so he shouldn't have to overextend or anything. Biscuit's also coming in there as well.
Alrighty, trade of blows. That first gank comes through, and it means now Xmithie is up 1 camp in the jungle pathing. Though a couple hundred damage might be worth a camp in the long term. We'll see what happens. In fact, foraging his items as he goes, of course. Typical Ornn stuff. Dodging away from bindings nicely enough. The farm getting a bit better now on the bot side. It's no longer quite as stark as it was before, but still over 10 the difference. Good pushing by Team Liquid.
Blaber again on this Kindred. Has a lot of early potential for invades here. He's getting some fairly shallow vision around the bottom side. This will allow Jensen in this Orianna Azir matchup to feel a bit more secure, hugging this bottom side of the map, knowing he's got his protection from there. Because again, a Gragas body slam flash, since there's no cleanse on Jensen, you have to wait a long time to be able to use your flash to get out of that one, and they can be very, very dangerous.
Absolutely. Good reflexes by Olleh that you saw him black shield before the back half of Sneaky Swain E could land. So no follow-through damage just yet on that one, but that landed him a bit more equal here. And now we've got another attempted gank as Xmithie's turn to come up. And of course, Impact has all those summoners. Flashes for the stun. Gonna put up the pillar as well. Gonna go for the charge. That's gonna be stuffed out by Licorice's W. Is gonna be up first in the backside. They're gonna go for onto the turret. Yes, they land that one. First blood. Xmithie finds the top lane.
Ooh, both flashes are blown from the top lane as Xmithie able to finish off the kill for themselves. And bonus first blood, all gonna go over to this Gragas. Now, the Gragas does have the choice between the Runic Echoes and Cinderhulk, but almost always see Runic Echoes built first, and you have a lot of burst damage and potential here, especially with him closing in on level 6. This could be a very, very dangerous gank here for the next couple of minutes from the Gragas with all that extra money. Another look at it is just the setup here, because Xmithie, as you can see right now.
We got to fight in the top side because Impact does not have flash. He chose to stay in lane, and Licorice gonna find the solo kill. I said it was big. He had no TP to get back in the lane. Chose to stay, and Licorice finds the outplay in the backside.
Yeah, greed again is what most people will say right here. Impact too close to the Poppy. Bami Cinder has been completed for Licorice, and he's able to get it done just with the basic abilities there. Looks like his ultimate was used before the replay actually started, so maybe had like a quick cast.
Yeah, probably did.
Actually very effective now that you can also get a little bit of damage in during the quick cast ultimate from Poppy, so maybe Impact not quite expecting that one, but good play from Licorice. This rookie of this split last split there for Cloud9 has done a lot of work for the team despite all of the changes they've been going through.
Yeah, I gotta say, pretty impressed by Licorice overall as a player, coming in, as you mentioned, as a rookie at the beginning of the year. And overall, the only player in C9 to not have been benched at all this split, which I don't even mean as like a really jokey answer, but actually true. They've had complete faith in him as a performer, and he's been largely pretty good throughout this split as well. So I think deserving of all that starting time. Right now, up 24 CS against Impact with a trade of equal ganks is still an impressive mark for him.
Yeah, still sitting at about equal gold here in this game. Blaber now taking his turn at a top lane. It seems like we've had tag team jungler ganks up here. This time it's in Cloud9's favor. 2v1 Impact under the turret.
And they're gonna go for this one, a big dive, but of course he cannot find the back half of the ulti as he's been stunned against the wall. Blaber holds the aggro, switches it back over to Licorice. Do they have the burst? Oh, knocked into the air, and the stop bot traded back and forth. The dive may still come true. I love that from Blaber. Gets the auto, puts the ult down. They're gonna stay safe as they kite away, but now look at the bot lane. A nice root though stops the potential body slam. Cena able to walk away, and as a team, up 2-1.
Again, as we kind of mentioned in Champion Select, the steadfast presence from Poppy can make sure that Ornn dash will be interrupted. It is a mini dash to be able to reactivate your ultimate, so stuns him against the wall and steadfast presence up mean there's zero chance that there's any window for him to get off that second cast. Meanwhile, though, even though Xmithie for Team Liquid does not get the kill, or even any summoners blown on bottom side, they do get an Infernal Drake for themselves.
Yeah, I do like what Blaber did, though, here. He stayed top lane after the gank, pushed in another wave. They could have probably gone full first turret there, but they really valued the reset for Licorice. But if they really wanted to stay, I think they could have gone actual for turret damage. It's down to about 10% up there.
It's down to literally one hit here. If I look at it, 47 HP on the top turret. This is a replay that we're gonna go over again. The stun into the wall, but also steadfast presence. Either one of those is gonna stop the ultimate second activation from Impact. So that's why it's so easy there for Cloud9. On the outside, like you talked about, Blaber using his ultimate there just to make sure nobody was gonna die. Licorice still was gonna be able to get out, but again, interesting play there not to rush the first turret. Bonus gold, Sneaky under turret though.
Looking for the damage. Xmithie coming by as well. Zeyzal takes a couple of shots. This is a really low health bar. Xmithie does have the ulti explosive cast versus Zeyzal's flash. Puts him into the wall. Swain shows up for this one. A blue spike secures it now. And Sneaky's on the chase, but can he survive this 1v2? Olleh can throw a bind before too terribly long. Ulti bursts out. Sneaky pushed away from his turret. And there you're going to knock down that first turret. There you go. 600 gold to him, 200 the rest of the team. Plus 800 there, but a lot of time now at this bottom turret could be a trade.
Yeah, so in the end, what you're saying, right, the turret killed off more minions on the top side, and they got the reset for a Licorice. In the end, they still get first turret bonus, so it all works out. But bottom!
There's the pull. Black Shield was late. A lot of burst damage. They will knock down Xmithie and Olleh. Late on the mechanics there, but flashes back in. This could be absolutely huge. He's going to find one stun. He's going to find both. They'll get the trade. Kills the shot. No, a stopwatch. Buys a little bit more time, but he's going to be knocked into the air, and somehow Tormented Soil grabs it away. Olleh with the double kill.
Yeah, Impact said, I teleported down here. I'm definitely going to have some use. So he uses his ultimate as well. Meanwhile, Cloud9, though, in the mid lane, zoning Pobelter off the turret.
Licorice throws in the shield, has zone from Jensen as well, and it's going to be this turret down to half HP. Both are not allowed to get farm. There is some risk here. Of course, Licorice has flash, he has ult. They have a lot of crowd control available. Poppy lands a point blank R. Shockwave is a guarantee. So that hard CC chain is very scary, and he will respect that.
Let's take a look at this replay one more time, though. Blaber into this bush right here that had a control ward in it. So Team Liquid, a little bit slow on the Black Shield, as you said during the initial cast there. But in the end, Olleh flashes back in to make sure that they're going to secure both of these extra kills. Lands the binding point blank on his sneaky. And yeah, the stopwatch is used, but Impact had also teleported down for that kill. And we're back alive.
We are back to life here. Gold basically equal. Battle comes in. I shouldn't see who got that smite. Looks like it is going blue circle, so nice picked up there by Blaber with his smite. He's on 2 Kindred stacks right now. Is going Blood Razor. Zeyzal and Olleh fight over wards as the Rift Herald runs back away. Move some lanes around though. Steel have already knocked down that turret in the duo lane. They're now setting their duo top side. Licorice gonna have a pretty hard time facing up against Jhin Morgana. And Xmithie, 1v3, kind of hard.
Interesting start here on the Rift Herald as well, since everyone from Team Liquid is in the area, yet they don't have any deep vision in the river. And a face check here would be fairly dangerous. Looks like they're slowly working their way in. 2,000 health on the Rift Herald.
This is going to be a bit tight. Here's Smite available on all sides. Nicely picked up, but can he get onto the Relic? And yeah, they're going to make him work for it. Herald with about 100 gold. Going to jump in towards Olleh, gets the damage output, and grabs it and walks out. Okay, so Cloud9 gets the full Rift Herald, all the benefits.
I like that little test of Blaber. All right.
Yeah.
First game on the LCS stage here, or with the LCS team. Is he going to be able to move in, get the eye, does stare down Olleh, and in the end, Cloud9 will get the reward for all of their work. Licorice on top side's got 3 members of Team Liquid coming for him, though. Oh, Olleh actually takes a pit stop inside the Baron pit there, as Licorice was hiding in the brush, and they don't want to circle around.
Uh-oh. 3 versus 1. Licorice gonna hide underneath the turret.
Under turret might be difficult to pull off.
Yeah, very tanky champion, Poppy is. Yeah, with the turret there and no one even close to him on that side of the map, they do not go for the dive.
Honestly, very good play there from Licorice. Hiding from vision for the majority of the top lane presence. Now, though, 4 members are coming up. He's ejecting the
minions back.
And it buys time for Fiddlesticks to come up. A 4-2 dive is actually even more dangerous, so Team Liquid call off the play.
All right, they still got time with the turret, but yeah, that is Licorice surviving some pretty scary ganks, and with Fiddlesticks backfilling him, he's going to be able to get most of this farm. And that is a nice play right there. He is still up about 50 CS over his prior lane opponent in Impact, so a very successful Poppy game for Licorice.
And technically, this is our first North American LCS Poppy. We saw some in Academy, I believe, and it has been making the comeback in solo queue, but has gotten a lot of small buffs, a little bit for the damage, as well as some for the tankiness in the last few patches. And it's a champion that, once she comes back, really does change how the team fights are played, right?
Yeah.
Has that nice interrupt with the steadfast presence for dashing champions, but also the ult we just saw used on minions completely changes champion numbers here once you get to the team fight phase.
All right, and so Blaber pushed a little bit away from the Azir, but that's going to be a charge. If it wasn't die, yep, that'll knock down the turret. So 2-1 the turret score. Cloud9 sitting on a 700 gold lead in this game. Mid lane temporarily under their control. Xmithie waiting on the right-hand side. Actually, most of Liquid here. Xmithie going to find a slow barrel.
Nope.
Yeah, not quite. They're going to walk around it. But they're all posturing around this Infernal Drake. It's going to be the next team fight here, close to 15 minutes in. Vision going back and forth, back and forth. Team Liquid owning a fair bit of it. Cloud9 sitting in fog.
Oh, man. So many summoners are available for this fight, too. This is going to be an exciting one. Looks like they want to take it. Look at the positioning here. Doublelift up above on the high ground, looking for the snipes with Jhin. Xmithie, though, 2v1.
Body comes back, has the Q behind him. Not easy to chase a Gragas, to be honest. But now they're going to move in on this bottom river.
The initiation for Team Liquid is split. They've got Impact on the top side, Xmithie on the bottom side, but the Infernal's getting burned down.
There's the pull, 800 health. It's going to be a pretty easy smite picked up by Blaber. And now, can they get away or will there be a fight? They get some CC, a very early ult in for Kindred. Will keep Blaber alive for a bit, but Azir can shove them right back out, pulls him in instead. And Blaber's going to get shot down. A shockwave, builds a bit of space, but health bars are quite high. Zeyzal flashing in, can't get a lot, but he tries, and they will trade one back. And now Olleh's got to be careful. Going to get a couple of stuns, but will be traded 2 for 2 so far. And in the 3v3 team fight, what's it going to look like? Licorice still looking to walk forward, has the ulti, has flash, could go for a big play. W's on, gets a slow from Swain, push them into the wall. This will be a kill. The pullback is in, and they will knock down Impact. Cloud9 get the Drake and win the fight, +1 kill.
Now they can also push out the minions, and bottom side is the last outer turret here for Cloud9. They might be able to get some gold for themselves in addition to the dragon going over. And now once again we're split, 1 Infernal apiece for both these teams. Still a little bit of map presence. Let's take another look at how it started out though. Blaber finishes off the Infernal Drake. Impact gets the slow and immediately ult here from Kindred from Blaber because he knows he's about to get chain CC. So it's a good job using his ult early. It does delay, but even in that case, there's another displacement here as Pobelter sweeps him off the ultimate to get the kill. Still though, that's all the damage that Pobelter was able to get off because Zeyzal commits fully. They get the fear. In the end, the chase is good for Cloud9. Doublelift flashes early, but it's all about the speed up from Orianna. Then Licorice goes for the just flash charge. You can also start your charge and flash afterwards to change the direction. Looks a little bit cooler, but he's able to get into position and there's no answer from Impact there, so it still gets him into the wall.
Really nice stuff there. They all kind of threw in the CC, and you mentioned in Champ Select the amount of stats you get from a Aftershock Fear from Fiddlesticks. He just crow-stormed as a support into the opposing team and said, it's okay, I pressed Q, tanky enough, got a lot of damage output there, really nice stuff.
Interesting little jungle proximity stat that we have here in the drop-down, which, by the way, means time that the jungler has spent in this game within 2,000 range of their top laner. It is almost double what Cloud9 had when Swain was in the game. Obviously, Blaber, went up there a bunch because there was so much focus here between those two tanks. Bottom side, though.
And here's the next try. Zeyzal caught out right in front. Not all that durable. Pops the stopwatch, buys some time, and Blaber going to take one for Mr. President. Now going to look for the next one here. Secret Service Kindred. To be fair, a champion the hall built around controlling life and death. It's very fitting.
Spoiler.
Says, today, not your time. What do you mean spoiler? It's literally the lore when they announced the champion.
No, new skin line coming out. Secret Agent.
Oh, yeah. Ooh, my bad.
That's
sorry.
Already exists.
Just like the TSM skins from last week. That's, never mind. We're going to move on. The script's been written. I know. It's crazy. No, I'm kidding. Either way, a small gold lead here for Cloud9. A smite battle goes to Xmithie. Nicely done.
3v1 here, though. Licorice, they all run away afterwards, too, right? Licorice, the presence that he has in this game is definitely really being felt, right? Yeah. 70 CS almost over Impact here in the tank battles. 2 levels over Impact. And look at the health he has with his extra shields as well. Orianna's shield comes in. His own passive shield comes in. The front line for Cloud9 is incredibly durable. So if they get the 5-on-5 with Licorice in front, should be fairly easy for them to execute. Blaber on the Kindred right now still only has 2 stacks, so they would want to get 2 stacks as quickly as possible for him to at least get to the 4 stacks so you get your big 75 range increase. But aside from that, they're still going to have plenty of damage.
I want to point out a very interesting build out of Xmithie, by the way. He has actually gone Syndroke, but he's gone into then the Arm Guard afterwards. So pretty heavy armor and a little bit of AP. It's a very gold-efficient item, but definitely not a build path I have seen before on Gragas. Maybe happens somewhere else, but Cinderhulk into that build path. Now, Gragas has very good AP ratios. It's part of why we often see Runic Echoes in the champion. But that's the look for him. Merc Tread's in there as well, which makes sense based on, Fiddlesticks and Swain being in there.
Yeah. He definitely does have to worry about some of the physical damage, but again, it's not like Cloud9 are overly indexing towards physical damage in their composition. They've got plenty of magic damage, so he's got a little bit of spread.
Yeah.
and he's got the extra health crystal, so maybe he won't even complete the Zhonya's.
Doesn't look like it. Zhonya's itself is not actually gold efficient, but the arm guard really is. So
yeah,
I think more players should be willing to sit on arm guard.
Anything that has an active as game-changing as a Zhonya's
not gold
should
efficient.
not have enough stats in it to pay for itself, in my opinion.
I agree with you.
Honestly, though, look at the vision on the map right now, because Cloud9 are the ones with all of the forward-facing wards here. And Team Liquid right now, you can see Olleh trying to clear out some of those wards, but Team Liquid has no vision past the rivers. They're playing kind of defensively right now, waiting to see Cloud9's move show before they could try and react to it.
Right now, Cloud9 setting up on this top side. We've seen Baron's been alive for 40 seconds right now. And the next Drake spawns in 40. Sneaky a little bit alone up here. Could be assaulted by Xmithie and everyone else. Is going to be close to spotted on that. We see some back pings in that brush. There is some level of knowledge here by C9. Still, they've kept their base to only one turret falling. They've kept the gold difference to 1,700 in their lead. Licorice gonna have a fairly hard time knocking this turret against Impact. Sunfire Kip's gonna pull aggro every time he tries.
He's got now 3-level lead over Impact. This is a huge discrepancy. Just look at the items in inventory. He's got a full extra item over the Ornn, who can build items out on the field.
Yeah.
He doesn't have the cash to pay for them. Right now, though, Blaber's going to come up to try and 2v1. Maybe they just force down turret and get the last outer for themselves. Mountain Drake will help them do extra damage to turrets. If they overload bottom side, then that means they need to tell Sneaky on top side to play more safe. So good communication on display there for Cloud9. That's been one of the things that they've talked about in a lot of their roster changes, highlighting players who have been very vocal in game and can keep that clear focus.
Focus is going to require for Cloud9, a team that has had a very hard time holding on to their leads. And sadly for Blaber, I believe...
Yeah, Impact got it.
Yeah, he smited early and Impact took that with a Q. I just blanked. Was like, how would you use it with smite? But either way, the case is that Impact got that steal away, so I believe he's still on just a couple of stacks here. Still on the 2 from what I can read. But we'll be getting a blue buff. Handed over cleanly to Jensen. And of course got that Drake stack not all that long ago.
I think this is pretty good play from Cloud9 as far as using their strong side around this Poppy, going for the invade, going for the turret, and having Sneaky on the Swain. Just play respectfully, back off from the waves. They do trade the objective there. So Team Liquid also got a tower down. They took down the outer, got some more global growth for themselves. And as you can see in the river, they just littered this barren area with all kinds of wards, making sure that there's no chance of a Cloud9, now that they have a Mountain Drake, rushing that thing down without some notice first.
Yeah, nothing too sneaky for Cloud9 right now, but they'll try eventually.
I mean, more so than they've had earlier on.
I was going to make that joke earlier, and I decided not to. I'm glad you followed me up, though, Kobe. Thank you. Either way, once again, just playing for vision back and forth. It's been definitely a low-impact game. God, that was not intentional. Really, it wasn't, and I'm sorry. But it has been a much slower game. It's been, boo, I agree. It's been a much slower game for the last 10 minutes or so. It has calmed down by quite a bit. And we're waiting to see when that next push is going to be, though. When the next big play for Baron, the next big tower dive comes in. Because Impact picked Ornn to be a hard engaged tank. You kind of said it in Champs, like, it's not about being, quote-unquote, the best tank. It's about having a super reliable long-range engaged tool. But Impact's been stuck in a side lane, getting bullied by Licorice. The Poppy, also a tank, not quite the same manner of team fighter, but has had him locked up most of the time, and it's let C9 kind of play the 4v4, or they're able to pull the trigger. Xmithie's not quite gotten in just yet. Did, by the way, actually go for full Zhonya's, so Cinderhulk into quasi-AP, not a build, again, that I've seen much before.
It's interesting, too, though, because we talked about the active and how game-changing it is to have a Zhonya's Hourglass on an engaged champion. It could allow Xmithie to go for a lot more aggressive plays on the Gragas, get himself way in there with the Body Slam Flash ultimate combination, and then buy some time for his team. Ideally for Team Liquid, they're looking for a full combo on Blaber before he can get his ult off. Snare here onto Jensen, though.
A lot of CC. They're going to find some more. Jensen flash the wave. It gets found out!
Oh, he's dead!
That is the damage up, but that was the pick. A huge bind from Olleh set it up, and Jensen's gone without summoner spells. TL go right towards Baron.
Oh, man. People have been saying a lot about Olleh over the splits here, but when he's on Morgana, he always seems to find some very big bindings. Right now he's looking for more, does get sneaky there.
Step, sneaky, bind into bind, and ult pops to Zhonya's Hourglass, and here's the pushback to get rid of exactly the tank, and this could be a very good re-engage. It's Xmithie low in health, but Zeyzal's already gone, and this could be a great re-engage for Liquid. The pushback, they're gonna slaughter everybody. A double kill for Pobelter, looking at two more to complete the ace. It's Blaber trying to run away as a double kill came through, actually. Huge plays out of Licorice, but that will finally be Kindred falling. So Licorice on the run against 3 from Team Liquid. The chase in, the jump through with the minion. He'll keep himself alive, but a much better fight out of TL.
What? Licorice actually sticking around here. He looks like he wants to flank because they do have Jensen coming from base. Is he going to go for this? Pobelter's a little bit low on mana, but it's still a 2v3.
They're going to maybe try for it. Jumps to the side. Licorice going to go in for a little bit here. Big chunk of damage! The Sheen shows up nicely, and he's going to try to block some of these moves now. Oh, gets away from the bind as well. Slick plays there. Shockwave's going to land. And just like we saw in the last game, the re-engage after the fact, and Licorice is a superhero.
People were telling me, not a lot of people, but some people telling me that Licorice didn't deserve Rookie of the Split last split. Those people are crazy.
Yeah.
This man is a monster, and he's a monster on Poppy this game. 5, 1, and 4. Another big play there. 6 around on the map. Regenerates. Able to start up the Baron right now. Team Liquid trying to stop him.
And Zeyzal going to try to zone out some of these players here. The smite is available for Xmithie. He's waiting over the wings, and he's been such a good smiter before. Now, Licorice has ulti. If he lands it without Black Shield on, he can eject Xmithie, push them over the wall. Black Shield's on, but he can't get in. Make sure he cannot steal, and the Baron goes over to Cloud9.
Yeah, bindings on point for Olleh, but the Black Shields have been a little bit late, and they aren't able to get the Black Shield on Xmithie in time. Another good move by Licorice. He stuns Xmithie, doesn't let him get into the Baron pit. Here's a look at how it all started, though. Sneaky was able to survive the initial Morgana binding and follow up there because he had the Hourglass, and then he's able to use his ultimate. Pobelter gets a big sweep. Critically, though, Blaber didn't die. In the sweep, he's still able to just barely get off his ultimate. That allowed them to get the counter kill onto Doublelift, and that meant everything. If Doublelift was still alive here, it would have been a completely different story. Licorice just runs right in. They get the smash down there onto Pobelter, who's the only damage threat. You know, Impact and Olleh weren't able to do anything to try and stop either of those members of Cloud9. And in the end, that gave over the Baron.
It was absolutely huge that Licorice got a kill and picked up red buff during that fight as well. Because once he got out of engagement range, he healed up about 50, 100 health per second, and was able to re-engage. When he was at 5% leaving the fight, he was at 50% to dive back in.
He was the one who charged Doublelift against the wall.
Yeah.
And was able to get that kill in the first place. Here we go, though. He's on the front lines. Very, very tanky.
Yeah, and he took 69 total damage.
Emer, you.
Oh no, I read numbers. It's just, it's the sex number, guys. It's funny. We all know it. 2,000 health on the Mountain Drake, easily picked up there, and buff stacking up. C9, they already have one of the Barons. Certainly going to be better at killing it next time around as well. Bonus turret damage on top of it, and they're going to go for some big plays in this bottom lane.
Are they going to do it?
3v0. Can they kill the turret? It's going to be close, ladies and gentlemen, and it's going to fall.
Team Liquid, though, they're going to counterattack.
And they found the knock for the mid laner. Jensen's going to kite back. A quick stop there from Lamb's Respite. And in comes Sneaky looking for the big play. Knocked against the wall. They just shut down Xmithie right away. Azir's turret going to fall as well, losing more of his territory.
And the push continues. Sneaky's not going to have his ultimate for this one, but it doesn't matter. Zoning ultimate here from Licorice. He actually does use it. I think he could have just held onto it and canceled it there. Doesn't really matter, though. Cloud9 still get the turret and the inhibitor after.
Inhibitor falls. Really nice play right there. 5v4 on the map, and TL could only watch as their base starts to be sundered. Cloud9 can look for the reset. Individual gold, yeah, looking at about 7,000 on overall inventories. Probably worth buying right here. And they'll reset and go for push 2.
Time to revisit the story of Cloud9 this summer split, trying to change the roster over and over. Their 5th different iteration now, and we're only halfway through the split.
Yeah.
Yet, they know they have to win almost all of their games here to make it into playoffs so that they have a chance of going to Worlds. And they're doing it right now against Team Liquid, one of the #1 teams in the league.
Yeah.
And making it look good. They know the pressure is on, and they're making a clutch performance here for themselves so far. A lot off the back of Licorice, but also Blaber. This guy off the Academy roster, one of the last changes that they have made. pretty good Kindred performances for himself. He's being very safe with the Kindred ultimate, using it early a lot of the time because there is so much CC on Team Liquid. You know, I'd say usually better to use it early than getting 100%ed at 0 or something and not using it at all. Then you get a bunch of question mark pings all over you.
That's true.
I speak
As
from
someone who
personal,
plays Kindred,
personal
yeah,
experience.
no. Well aware of the question mark things. And it happens sometimes. Either way, Jensen almost rooted up. He's going to be safe enough, though. Only one death on him. It was a single pick, and even then that turned around to eventually be C9 favored. 5,000 gold lead sieging the top lane. No Baron buff, though. TL do have decent wave clear for this one. But are they afraid of the dive? Licorice, you can see a very, very menacing Yordle on the side. Look at the knock up there. It's going to be a Zhonya's hourglass pop for Jensen. And there's the ejection. They're going to find that kill into Olleh. He was left alone on the front side. Didn't see what happened, but was stuck alone there. Another pick off in time for more turrets to fall as C9 5v4 look at top lane inhibitor turret. Blaber fighting the front line as well. Impact forced to flash away. Out of turret dagger, they're going to stay safe. Sneaky's going to be careful though. Pops his own. Zhonya's hourglass. Pobelter forced one away as well. And a second in turret. And second inhibitor will fall as Jensen finds himself the QW, knocks down that kill. And another pickoff is there. Licorice is dominating indeed. 6-1 and 6, a huge force in this game. C9 now on to the Nexus turrets, and from last place to knocking down the Spring Split champions, Cloud9 may have just found a roster that works. Knocking down the rest is Licorice, huge in this game. 13 of 15 for the KP on him. The Poppy, the first in the NALCS for this side of the year. Knocking down the kills, knocking down the Nexus. Pad the KDAs, make sure it looks nice. Now he's godlike, and I believe it. What a game for Cloud9.
Congratulations, Blaber, on your North American LCS victory here, and Cloud9 will move to 3-6, starting to make their climb up the standings.
They started the day 2 games behind a playoff spot. Odds are at the end of the day, only 1 game behind. Making up that distance with 9 games to play, that is the road. If their eyes are on Worlds, they must make playoffs, but they do not have a shot, period. There is no way to make that run without a playoff position. Top 6 required for a postseason, and maybe even beyond that, but a lot of work cut out for them. Sneaky back in the lineup, Blaber in today. Licorice started every single game and had one of the best games of his career.
That was an outstanding Poppy performance. Not only did he have the most kills on the team, he had the highest kill participation. Everything was really created around him. Honestly, definitely going to get a player of the game for this one.
Yeah, spoiler alert, no vote. It's definitely him. I refuse to believe anyone else believes otherwise. Massive, massive stuff for him. And the thing is, he was actually close in damage to the other big carries on his team. Out-damaged Sneaky, and within 10% of the Kindred and the Orianna. Beautiful stuff out of him. You can see Blaber right there on your screen, his NALCS debut. Spent a lot of time helping top lane. Don't want to say it was a one-man army, but those two did work well together. Their first game together on a stage ever, as Blaber was playing in Academy only and Licorice played in LCS only, and that was very good. They had a lot of control over that lane. They really pushed Impact down. It was great stuff.
Yeah, something else that you mentioned during the cast was Cloud9 had not, this split, used a lot of their gold leads in the game to actually end out the game, and that is something that we have also seen change for them since they got Sneaky back in the roster, Jensen back in the roster.
Yeah.
They have been doing better in the mid to late game transitions.
They have indeed, and that is the big thing that needed to fix, and it's been trending up at least a little bit. Since Sneaky coming back in, they are 2-1 overall. Weirdly enough, Sneaky is lost on Marksman and won on Mages, if I'm remembering properly, because I think they won the Morgana game. Either way, very interesting stuff there. We will soon have an interview with Blaber, which will be exciting to watch for when that gets ready. And of course, I think we kind of all want to hear from him as the new face in the roster.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, it's super fun to watch their struggles, and it feels like they have a lot of potential here with the new squad.
They have a lot of potential. We'll see if they can live up to it. So Cloud9 able to pick up the win, and Olleh is standing by with victorious rookie jungler.
Yeah. Thanks, guys. Blaber, congratulations on your LCS debut victory and against, honestly, one of the most experienced junglers in the NALCS. What has this entire experience been like for you?
I mean, this experience is really cool, and I'm really excited to play LCS. I didn't actually expect to play LCS halfway through the Academy split, but it feels really good, really good.
Now, before I ask you about making your appearance on the stage here today, I want to ask you about playing with Licorice today, because both of you guys in the top lane seem to be doing a lot of work.
Yeah, I mean, C9 as a team, usually we play around topside, I guess. But I've been friends with Licorice for like 1 to 2 years now. So it's pretty cool playing with him. After looking up to him, he was my first pro friend, I guess.
Now, we were wondering when we were going to see you take to the stage, and one of the reasons that we heard you weren't here yet or weren't ready yet was that there was a little bit of a lack in maturity. So what changed to allow you to play on the stage here today?
I don't know if it was maturity, more like I was just inting. And a lot of the scrims, I would just kill myself a bunch. And I don't think I was ready yet to play LCS. I don't know if I'm fully ready now, even now, but I'm glad I got to pull off the win today, so.
Sorry, excuse me, I didn't mean to cut you off, but what do you think you need to work on to be at your full force ready for this current roster?
Definitely got to work on, I guess, mid-game, and in scrims I'm a lot more aggressive, I guess, than on stage, and that's something I want to keep pulling out on stage, playing aggressive, and I don't really want to play passive as a jungler, so it's something I want to work on, for sure.
Is there anyone on the team that's been offering you maybe leadership or advice, or who are you learning the most from?
Definitely learning probably the most from Jensen. He's teaching me a lot about how mid-jungle should be played, how we should get vision, and like move timings to other lanes, and I think he's been really helpful in making me a better player, so appreciate it.
And we talked to Sneaky earlier, and he says that Cloud9 has a bit of like a 2-loss leeway in order for you guys to still make playoffs. So just coming in for this week, are you feeling the pressure?
Definitely feeling the pressure. I was actually extremely nervous before this game. I talked to my team, and they were trying to calm me down, I guess. But I think I'm better now, so I'll be less nervous for tomorrow's game.
Well, you pulled it off. Congratulations again on the win. And for more of the game, let's hear from the analyst desk.
Thank you very much, Avali. A big win for Cloud9 as they attempt to keep their hunt for playoffs alive, moving to 3-6 at the conclusion of the first round robin. But taking a look at how they unseated one of the top teams here in Team Liquid, along with adding Blaber into the lineup, I want to dive into champion select here. The Kindred goes over to Blaber, the Poppy of all things up into the top lane, and Sneaky playing mages.
I think that C9's draft looked pretty good, but I have to put a big missing ping on Liquid's draft. Few question marks, because their team comp is very AP heavy, like very, very AP heavy, and your only source of physical damage is Jhin. And everyone knows Jin's not a champion that has like a lot of sustained damage. The other team doesn't really have to build armor. So mid-game, they're going to be up against all Merc Treads, all, adaptive helms, whatever MR items they want. And I can't really see how Liquid's expecting to win.
So what do you think the pivot there is? Because they get Gragas very early, and then they pick the Jhin. Which do you think they should have subbed out and for what? Because like Graves is maybe a jungler that they could pick up, but like I'm trying to think of the solutions there, because I think they tunneled on like countering the Kindred right off the bat.
Right, so I understand the Gragas and the Kindred. That's definitely a matchup that makes sense because you can knock her out of the ult. And so I think after their first 3, that's okay. You've got a lot of CC. You've got some pretty versatile picks. But following it up with Ornn Azir, those are 2 champions that's like about 40% win rate in solo queue that have just seen nerf after nerf after nerf due to their competitive dominance. So I'm a little confused why they picked those 2 champions here.
I think you have to give a little bit of credit to C9 because they took the Orianna Poppy in the 4-5 spot after they saw the Ornn come in. So that was kind of them being like, all right, that's basically all magic damage, assuming you play a mage in the mid lane. So I kind of, good job C9. But yeah, doubling down with the Azir as the last pick was not good. You potentially could have tried to flex the Gragas to the top lane. Some people have started playing that. And then you still have the ultimate for the disruption of the Kindred ult, but you don't have to then play that in the jungle and you have a tank in the top side.
So if we're looking at kind of the Ornn pick as one of the things that maybe should have been flexed to something else. What's remaining for impact on the top lane? I'm noticing GP still available. What other physical damage options would he have had?
Well, they banned Gnar and Darius themselves on that side.
Yeah.
So, and it looks like they were just going to try to put him on some type of tank top lane, whatever they could get. And Dr. Mundo got banned by Cloud9. So they were like, all right, I guess there's Ornn left. And they weren't going to go for counter pick for impact. Instead, they wanted to counter pick mid lane. So it did put them in that place where they were picking an AP mid laner last.
Yeah, I do think that their second phase of the draft could have been a lot better. I think that if they, left Gnar Darius open, because those are very good counter picks into tanks and gives you some physical damage, they could have taken away Orianna from Jensen. That's like basically a signature champion. It's a very good blind pick mid as well. Then you get the counter pick for top lane, put impact on something he can do well. But I guess that's just not how Liquid wants to play. They do seem more comfortable with impact on tanks.
Right, the
so.
chips fell differently, so now let's dive into some of the gameplay because we saw very quickly that the map was split. Team Liquid focusing bot while C9 heads to the top lane.
Right, and this is a really clean dive by Blaber and Licorice. This is what you want to see. It's a hard one to pull off against the tank, but they do a good job juggling the turret aggro. Once Licorice feels like he's in a little bit of trouble after getting stunned up here, you see the double stopwatch come through. Blaber has 6, so he knows with impact kind of running away, he'll be able to drop that ultimate.
Yeah, and I really like the covering of options there with the steadfast presence because it made it so Ornn can't hit the ultimate with his R, and then he can't E the turret to get a knockup. So he had to hold everything, and he got stunned against the wall anyway. So Poppy's a really good champion into the Ornn, so good preparation there as well from C9.
Yeah, down to the south side of the map, though.
Yeah, TL doing a good job, not quite answering at the exact same time, but trying to do it nonetheless. And what was really important about this was Impact got the first gank, he got the kill, then gets solo killed, then gets dove, and in return, TL try and make plays on the map side. When you look at what happened as a result, the CSDs were completely in the favor of Cloud9. Licorice was 72 CS up, and you're talking about this team comp maybe not having enough damage to punch through the enemy's front line. Well, the enemy's front line is way stronger than yours now, and it's a nightmare to try and team fight.
Oh, yeah. Even when Azir had his Void Staff, there was that one fight near blue where he was just stabbing Poppy.
Comical, really.
And he wasn't doing any damage. And when you already have your Void, you don't really have many more spikes to look forward to. Like maybe my death cap in 20 minutes,
Right.
but it seemed pretty hard for them.
I think it's interesting. We just saw the lower third fly up for Doublelift having a CS advantage, but to your point, Meteos, it's like, great, that is your one, physical damage source, but it's not consistent enough in these fights to really make that CS differential or lead for Doublelift matter. Zyrene, any final points on this before we move on to Blaber?
It was once again just the itemization, Abyssal Mask, very easy buy for him, so he didn't really care as much about the Void Staff. And it was so hard to kill him. That fight where he runs away just barely with some HP, comes back in, turns around a lot of the game and puts them back in the driver's seat.
It was huge. Set him up for the Baron. From there, they easy close it out. I want to talk about Blaber in his first game here on the LCS stage. Playing Kindred, that's definitely a pick that's going to put a spotlight on you, right? Because we've seen Kindred's look amazing and oh so terrible. How do we feel he did this time around?
I think Kindred's definitely a feast or famine champion, but I really like the way Blaber played. It seemed like he got a lot of advantages for his team just through clever pathing, and I thought he played the top dive really well. That's a situation where it's kind of hard because if the dude has stopwatch and you ulti under their turret, it can go really bad for you. So he played that well. He got the Herald for his team. He got a lot of dragons, and it seemed like he was just pressuring quite hard. And one thing to note is that Kindred's really hard if you don't have some sort of tank on the bottom side of the map, like a tank support. Because when you're going for vision control, it's generally not with your top laner. So you've got like Ori, Swain, Fiddle, who's going to walk in first. It's pretty hard. So I think Blaber was in a kind of a hard spot to play Kindred, but he did really well.
Zyrene, top of the day, we talked about, him coming in for Svenskeren, and we kind of hypothesized maybe some of the reasons why that was, and Svenskeren underperforming. How do you feel in contrast to Sven's, in particular, he played in this game? Obviously, they got the W.
Yeah, I think he actually played particularly well. It's what Cloud9 needed, right? They didn't struggle at getting early advantages. They struggled at closing out the games and not having people kind of throw the advantage away. Licorice got enough of an advantage off of his counter kill and then Blaber coming in to kind of make it so that the game was almost at the point where it was going to tip over and be completely in favor of C9. So I really like the way he played because he understood what lane to camp and how to split the map. So I thought that was something that Sven wasn't doing as much.
And I'm curious to see where it goes from here because this was a game that, Meteos was talking about, that this was heavily in favor of C9 based off the draft phase. And the back and forth mid game was actually really, really close. And so I'm not 100% convinced quite yet that this lineup will solve their late game problems because this felt to me like Poppy's unkillable, your team fighting is now substantially easier, and you were against 2 team fight comps, and the better team fighting comp won. I want to see what happens when they don't have a huge draft advantage.
But a solid performance out of Blaber for his first step on the LCS stage. I want to take a quick trip down memory lane, Meteos, and ask you, do you remember your first game on the LCS stage?
My first game, was that the one where I got both my buffs stolen by Blitz?
You were playing Nasus.
Okay.
It was against Dignitas. We have the stats flying up on the screen there. You
The
were
KDA superstar.
You went 1-0-7, which makes your 8 KDA right there. I don't know if that jogs your memory at all. I'm struggling to remember if it was one where you lost both buffs. But
yeah, it was against a Blitzcrank, and he hooked my blue over the wall, and then I went to red. He hooked my red, and I was like, okay, I'm just gonna go push with my bot lane, and we got a turret.
All right, but so what was that like? I mean, to put some context to the viewer for what Blaber just experienced, right? The kind of the difference, from playing at an amateur level to now, hey, I'm in front of a crowd, and hey, the win-loss column here matters when it comes to playoffs. And for Cloud9 in this situation, playoffs and Worlds implications. Obviously, your guys' first LCS split went really damn well. Cloud9 struggling a little bit more this time around.
Oh, for sure. I can definitely understand the pressure that Blaber's feeling. He's up in front of a big crowd on a team that's, near the bottom of the standings, and they've gone through a lot of roster changes, LCS debut, but I think he played great. And I will say that for my own debut, we weren't actually in front of an audience.
Yeah, you had the other
true,
side of the
you were
wall.
back behind the
we got some tarps around us. It was different back then.
It was the old school
But I
days.
definitely think it helps to have a supportive team, like Blaber said. On Cloud9, we were always very like we got along really well. So it just kind of felt like you were up on stage with your boys playing video games, rather than like, ooh, I need to prove myself in this like position in front of the world, and like all these people are watching my every move. So hopefully his team kind of eased him into it, and it seemed like he did really well.
What about your re-debut with Phoenix One, where you came in on a team that was at the bottom of the standings? Because that's exactly what he's doing here.
I mean, then you were a veteran, right? So you
Yeah.
probably had some ideas of like what you thought the issues were and how to change.
I think
Phoenix
that was the game where we were against Cloud9.
Yeah, and Phoenix wasn't in the bottom of the standings quite yet. They were actually doing decent that split. And Meteos came in and destroyed Sneaky as the Dark Meteos like timeline where you betrayed your brother. Or
Yeah,
whatever.
Sneaky had to hand me the
I got to
double.
jump in here. We can reminisce more off camera on the good old days, but we're going to take a quick break. When we return, TSM squares off against Optic Gaming. Don't go anywhere.
He's going to beat up first in the backside. They're going to go for onto the turret. Yes, they land that one first blood. Oh, we got to fight in the top side because Impact does not have flash. He chose to stay in lane, and Licorice.
Look at Pobelter, look at Pobelter.
He's dead here, I think. One hit. Yeah, he's dead.
Pobelter.
I'm dead as well. I'm dead as well.
Look Olleh, look Olleh.
You guys can win.
Jensen, though.
A lot of CC. They're going to find some more. Jensen flashes away. They get found out.
Oh, he's dead.
I am doing
Hey, Poppy ultimate.
Yeah, I'm dead. I think we win. Yeah, Eugene, go ulti, go ulti. Going. Yeah, everyone dead.
Jumps to the side. Licorice going to go in for a little bit here. Big chunk of damage.
He's dead. Azir's dead.
Swain. Fiddle. Yeah. Jen. Fiddle.
From last place to knocking down the spring split champions, Cloud9 may have just found a roster that works. What a game for Cloud9.
The sub above difference is daily, not shredded last night or baked yesterday afternoon. Good ingredients, prepped fresh every day. Because that's what daily means. Jersey Mike's. Be a sub above.